The microphones were, they were supposed to be off. The studio doors were locked tight.
Right.
But, in Hollywood, secrets just have a way of echoing. And just like that, a grueling 9-hour reality TV reckoning became the absolute biggest scandal of the summer.
The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. And Hollywood had a brand new obsession. The Summerhouse reunion was so bad, Wes Wilson is now speaking out.
Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Because, it is the ultimate reminder that the pristine, heavily edited reality we see on our screens is usually masking a completely chaotic reality behind the scenes.
Oh, totally. And that brings us to our mission for you today. We are taking a deep dive into the sources surrounding the unprecedented Summerhouse Season 10 reunion leaks.
Yeah, and we have a massive stack of material for this one. We've got celebrity news articles, podcast transcripts, and, frantic leaked social media posts.
Exactly. And together, they paint this vivid picture of a cast in total freefall after Wes Wilson and Amanda Batula's bombshell romance.
It really is a free fall.
Yeah, so we want you, the listener, right here at the table with us as we unpack how a reality TV empire just completely lost control of its own narrative.
To really understand why this particular leak sent just shockwaves through the Bravo network, we have to look at the foundational architecture of the show.
Right.
So back in January, Amanda Batula and Kyle Cooke officially separated.
Which, if you aren't deep into the Bravo ecosystem, might just sound like a standard celebrity breakup.
Yeah, but it's not.
No, not at all. Let's clarify the stakes here for you guys listening. This wasn't some brief fling. This was a 4-year marriage and a relationship that spanned nearly a decade.
Yep. They were the anchor couple of the entire Summerhouse universe.
They absolutely were. And when a decade-long relationship that serves as the focal point of a television show ends, there is a very strict, unspoken protocol.
Right. There is an expected public mourning period. There are PR strategies you have to follow. You have to handle the narrative delicately because the audience is deeply invested in that history.
But then, fast forward to March 31st, the mourning period apparently just hits fast forward.
Seriously.
Amanda and Wes Wilson dropped this massive bombshell joint Instagram post. They confirmed that their friendship had, quote, evolved into a romance.
And they claimed they needed space to process things privately before speaking on it, citing the complicated dynamics of a reality show.
Yeah, look at the phrasing there, though. Evolved.
Oh, it is a brilliant piece of PR spin. By using the word evolved, it makes the relationship sound like gradual and organic and gentle.
Exactly.
It's a linguistic trick to take the edge off the harsh reality. She is freshly separated from his close friend, and he is deeply entangled with her best friend.
Wow, yeah, when you put it like that.
But by posting that statement, they managed to control the delivery of the information.
Right, they put the fire out on their own terms. Or, so they thought. Because everything changes on April 23rd.
A main event.
Yep, the Season 10 reunion. According to our sources, this was a torturous, emotionally draining 9-hour day of filming.
9 hours.
Imagine sitting under hot studio lights for 9 hours while a host grills you about your worst mistakes of the entire year.
It sounds like an actual nightmare. It was so intense that several of the guys on the cast actually broke down and cried on set.
And then, the vault is breached. Unprecedented audio leaks threaten Bravo's buttoned-up empire. 3 separate audio clips from the reunion leak online.
And leaks of this magnitude simply do not happen at this network. Wes Wilson himself even noted on his podcast how buttoned up the network usually is.
Right.
They run a very tight ship. Ironclad, non-disclosure agreements, secure sets. So when that first raw audio clip hit the internet, the panic internally must have been staggering.
But wait, I have to push back here for a second. Isn't this kind of the golden goose for a reality TV network?
How do you mean?
Well, doesn't a massive scandalous leak just drive up ratings for the actual episode when it finally airs? Why would Bravo panic over free press?
You'd think any press is good press, right?
Yeah.
But not in this specific scenario. The network completely relies on its ability to shape the narrative.
Oh, so the editing.
Exactly. Editors take those 9 hours of footage and craft a specific story. They give cast members a hero edit or a villain edit. They protect the pacing.
Gotcha.
Raw, unedited audio strips the network of its control. Suddenly, the audience is hearing the messy, unpolished reality without the slick production.
Right. It undermines the eventual broadcast because the raw truth is already out there.
Totally.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. And Bravo really went into overdrive. They launched a massive investigation. Our sources say they tracked down the culprit and actually fire a production member.
Which is wild.
You'd assume that stops the bleeding.
Yeah.
Right, the leak is plugged, but no. A second and then a third recording still make their way to the public.
It creates an environment of total chaos. Even Andy Cohen was furious.
Oh, I bet.
He publicly noted that the first leak dropped just hours after he had finished the grueling shoot. He was literally just trying to de-stress, and suddenly the internet is exploding with raw audio from the set he just left.
It really makes you think about the psychological environment the cast is filming in. Like, think of reality TV production like a watertight submarine.
Okay, I like that analogy.
Right. The cast and crew get inside, they seal the hatch, and they navigate the crushing deep-sea pressures of public scrutiny together. They know they're under pressure, but they trust the hull of the sub.
And then suddenly, 3 different leaks spring from the hull, from the inside. The call is coming from inside the house.
Exactly. When the network's vault is breached from the inside like that, how does that change the reality TV playbook?
It changes everything.
If you are a cast member, are you performing for the cameras you can see or for the rogue microphones you didn't know were recording?
It just shatters the illusion of safety. When you're on that reunion stage, you trust the network's machinery to package your worst moments with some level of context before the world sees it months later.
Right.
When raw audio leaks in real time, that safety net vanishes. You are suddenly performing without a wire.
And that's not even the wildest part. Later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking timeline twist involving the Super Bowl that nobody, especially a certain best friend, saw coming.
Yes, because if you listen to those leaked recordings, it wasn't just surprise you were hearing from the cast. It was visceral, furious anger.
Right, they were mad.
And to understand why the reunion went so completely off the rails, we have to look at the timeline. This wasn't just a surprise romance. It was a profound double betrayal.
Okay, so let's unpack the messy history here because this sounds straight out of a soap opera.
Right.
Weston's previously dated Amanda's best friend, Ciara Miller.
Right.
And that relationship ended in a really nasty breakup back in 2023. Now, if I'm looking at this objectively, 2023 was a while ago. In the fast-moving world of reality TV, shouldn't an old breakup be ancient history? Why the massive outrage now?
Well, in a normal environment, maybe. But in the ecosystem of a close-knit reality TV cast, an ex is never really just an ex because you are forced to live and work with them continuously.
Oh, that's true.
But the sources reveal a much more explosive detail. It wasn't entirely history. According to the timelines pieced together from the leaks, Ciara and Wes were actually casually seeing each other recently to see if things would work out again.
Oh, wow. Okay, so they are actively testing the waters behind the scenes.
Exactly.
And here is where the timeline overlap becomes an absolute nightmare. The sources reveal a wild connection to Dave Portnoy.
This part is crazy.
Portnoy apparently found out from Brianna Chicken Fry LaPaglia at the Super Bowl on February 8th that West and Amanda were already dating.
Let's lay out that calendar for you because the dates are the smoking gun here. February 8th, the Super Bowl. Dave Portnoy knows West and Amanda are a secret couple.
Right.
But who did West actually travel with to attend that exact Super Bowl?
He went with Ciara.
Yes.
He was physically at the Super Bowl with the girl he's supposedly casually seeing again, while the rest of the VIP tent apparently knows he is secretly dating her best friend.
It is staggering when you put the pieces together. It completely changes the context of that March 31st Instagram post where they claimed their friendship had evolved.
Wow. Yeah.
They weren't just protecting a fragile new love from public scrutiny. They were actively hiding a massive, ongoing overlap from the people closest to them.
And the public reaction, particularly the fallout from the rest of the cast, is just brutal. In the leaked audio, you can literally hear Ciara outright calling Amanda a snake.
Yeah, she did not hold back.
Not at all. And in a subsequent interview with Glamour, Ciara breaks down the psychology of the betrayal perfectly. She says, a guy's a guy.
Meaning, sadly, she almost expects this kind of self-serving behavior from West.
Exactly. But she says the betrayal coming from Amanda, her best friend, is what feels like the ultimate knife to the back. She has completely cut them both off.
It highlights the stark difference between romantic disappointment and a fundamental breach of trust. The cast immediately saw that distinction.
Right.
They didn't view this as a messy breakup. They viewed it as a betrayal of the core group dynamic.
Yeah.
They have completely rallied around Ciara. It is a unified front across the board. Team Ciara all the way.
You even have Lindsay Hubbard getting, as she calls it, activated at the reunion.
Oh, I love when she says that.
She said she gave West and Amanda her 2 cents on stage and admits she still refuses to answer any of their text messages. But what really caught my eye is the newest cast member, KJ Dillard.
Yeah.
KJ takes to threads to call his co-stars sickos for hiding the secret romance.
That is such a fascinating detail to me.
Yeah.
KJ is new. He doesn't have the decade of shared baggage, the deep emotional ties, or the complicated history the rest of them share.
Right, he's the new guy.
Yet his reaction is just as visceral.
So why do you think that is? If he's new, why does he care so much about who is dating who?
Because in the reality TV bubble, your relationships are your currency. When Amanda started dating West in secret, she wasn't just risking a personal friendship.
Okay.
She was altering the entire power dynamic and storyline of the cast without their knowledge. Reality stars rely on knowing where the alliances are to survive the show.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
By keeping a secret that massive, Amanda and West manipulated the reality of everyone around them. That's why KJ feels like they're sickos. He feels manipulated as a castmate.
If you're loving these Hollywood twists and want more deep dives into reality TV's biggest scandals, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead. Because the heat on Wes Wilson at this point is unimaginable, and we have to talk about how the man at the center of the storm actually responded.
Right. For weeks, he was noticeably quiet. He let the leaks, the cast's anger, and the fan speculation just dominate the entire narrative, which is a choice in itself.
But eventually, the silence breaks. Wes Wilson takes to his own platform, the Show Me Something podcast, which he co-hosts with WNBA star Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah.
And he offers his side of the story and a peek behind the curtain of that grueling reunion.
And, going to your own podcast is a very calculated move.
How so?
Well, when the Bravo machinery fails to protect you with a good edit, or worse, when the raw audio leaks and destroys the edit entirely, you retreat to a platform you own.
Oh, right.
You control the microphones, you control the questions, and you shape your defense.
That is so true. So on his podcast, West refers to the reunion as the darkest form of therapy. He says that in normal life, you don't usually get that much direct, concentrated feedback on how your actions negatively impact other people.
Right.
He does admit he caused, quote, a lot of damage to his friends, says the situation sucks, and claims the only way to move forward is to learn and be a better person.
I really want to focus on that phrase for a second. The darkest form of therapy.
It's a heavy phrase.
It is an evocative, highly quotable phrase, but it also subtly shifts the psychological framing of the event. Think about what therapy actually is.
Okay.
Therapy is supposed to be a safe, private space designed for your personal healing and growth. A reality TV reunion is a televised arena built for accountability, confrontation, and entertainment.
Wow, yeah.
By calling it therapy, West is subtly centering his own difficult emotional journey, rather than focusing entirely on the harm he caused others.
That is a brilliant point. He's making himself the patient in a scenario where he was actually the instigator.
Exactly.
And we see him actively working the PR control efforts behind the scenes, too. After the reunion, West sends this incredibly lengthy apology text to KJ Dillard.
Oh, the text.
Yeah, he writes it in the spirit of healing, telling KJ he lost touch with how much hurt there was in the room, and even praises KJ for speaking up about his own mental health.
I mean, it sounds like a genuinely thoughtful text on the surface.
I thought so, too. I was almost ready to give him credit for taking accountability in private. But then, the private text doesn't stay private.
Oop.
KJ goes on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen and reads the entire private text live on the air.
Live on TV.
KJ admits he appreciates the sentiment, but says the apology still really hurts because they used to be so close.
So West's private PR cleanup becomes public content. And that is the danger of apologizing to a reality TV star. Everything is content.
Everything.
But the viral response to West speaking out is where the boundaries of this entire show completely blur. Because guess who jumps into the comments on Threads to defend Amanda?
Kyle Cooke. Yes.
Her recently separated husband. Kyle jumps onto social media and completely slams West. He writes that West is all PR and zero intention or integrity.
Wow.
Yeah, and Kyle goes on to reveal that the reunion was a brutal beatdown for Amanda and claims West sat totally silent on the stage instead of having her back.
Oh, that's rough. Fans immediately start flooding Kyle's comments, warning him to stop trying to save his ex-wife, who clearly didn't want to be saved by him.
This is perhaps the most fascinating psychological twist in the entire saga. Kyle and Amanda were together for 10 years.
Right.
They built businesses together. They built their television careers together, even though they are separated. And she is at the center of a massive scandal for secretly dating his friend. Kyle's instinct is still fundamentally wired to protect her from public attack.
It's like phantom limb syndrome for a marriage. He just can't help but defend her.
Precisely. And he is furious that West, the new guy who supposedly loves her and caused this mess, didn't step up to take the heat. Kyle's essentially saying, I used to take the bullet for her, why aren't you?
Yeah, it's wild. And while Kyle is dropping heavy, serious accusations on Threads, you have Mia Calabrese taking a very different, vastly more chaotic approach on TikTok.
Oh, the TikTok.
In a since-deleted video that she explicitly noted was recorded after downing 2 martinis, Mia throws absolute shade at West.
It was so funny.
She looks at the camera and says, less podcast equipment, more therapy, more dentist visits. There's a lot of missing side tooths out there.
The contrast is just incredible. It is the perfect encapsulation of modern pop culture commentary. On one app, you have serious emotional debates about integrity, PR spinning, the obligations of a partner.
Right.
And on another app, you have a 2-martini TikTok insulting someone's dental work.
It's the internet in a nutshell.
But underneath Mia's chaotic joke is a very real critique. Stop hiding behind your podcast microphone and do the actual work of making amends.
Which brings me back to West's overall strategy here. Have you ever seen how firefighters handle a massive dry forest that is at risk of a wildfire?
Yeah, they do a controlled burn, right?
Exactly.
They intentionally set a small fire to burn up the dry brush on their own terms.
Yes, they burn the fuel so the wildfire doesn't have anything left to consume. So is West using his podcast to execute a controlled burn of his own PR?
Oh, that's interesting.
He realizes he couldn't control the edit on the Bravo stage, and the leaks proved the narrative was turning against him.
Right.
So he goes on his podcast, admits to causing damage, takes a little heat voluntarily, and hopes it extinguishes the bigger scandal before it burns his entire reputation to the ground.
A controlled PR burn.
Yeah.
That is the perfect way to look at it. He is giving the audience just enough accountability, admitting he caused damage, and that it was a dark time to extinguish the narrative that he's a complete unfeeling villain.
Exactly.
But by doing it on his own podcast, he ensures nobody is there to interrupt him. Nobody is there to cross-examine him.
Right, he's safe.
Nobody is there to ask him why he was at the Super Bowl with Ciara while dating Amanda. He controls the temperature of the fire entirely.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Because as we wrap up this deep dive into the Summerhouse leaks, it leaves us with a lingering, provocative question to mull over.
Yeah, the fallout from this reunion, the leaked audio, and the podcast apologies force us to really examine how we consume accountability in the modern age.
Right, think about this for a second. When the darkest form of therapy becomes public entertainment, can a friendship group ever truly recover?
That's a great question.
Or does the very act of broadcasting an apology, whether it's raw, leaked audio, a live TV text message reading, or a carefully produced podcast episode, forever change the nature of the apology itself?
Yeah.
Can an apology ever be truly genuine if it is simultaneously acting as calculated damage control?
It boils down to a question of audience. Are you apologizing to the person whose heart you broke, or are you apologizing to the millions of people watching you do it?
Exactly.
And in the reality TV bubble, those two things might be completely impossible to separate.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncovered the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.